Oh, doing very well, thanks.
We were just talking about the weather. I was talking about how it's about 80s down here in Atlanta, and not a cloud in the sky. So I don't know how it is in Indy for you right now, but it's pretty nice up here.
Definitely not 80, and it's all clouds.
Ah, it's that Midwest springtime. I got it.
Yeah, it feels more like October than it does almost May.
Nice. And then I see somebody named Frank Floss is on here too. Brian, is that one of your guys?
Yeah, that's my superintendent.
Okay, great. I'm sure he will be pretty interested in seeing field as well.
Yeah, he's the guy that's got to make decisions, so.
No problem. All right. And then, Brian, is everybody on your end, do you have anybody watching with you besides Frank? Is there anybody else in the room with you?
I've asked one person, Annette, if she wants to join me, but here,
Is that Annetta?
yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to go ahead and record this session. So if she can't make it, we'll have a recording that we can send to you. And she can, kind of watch it back as that as well. If she wants to jump on another meeting at a different time, if she wants to check it out, we can do that as well. Whatever works best for her.
Yeah, she's not available right now, so.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have this recorded and we'll go from there. So I think if everybody's ready to go, Michael, are you ready to go?
You want to wait?
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes. Yeah. Just a moment,
Yeah,
I think Frank will be calling in here. He's trying to use the
computer.
Oh,
okay. Sure. Well, I guess in the meantime then, I know I've talked to you, Ryan, and Annette and some of the other folks, but would you mind giving an overview to Michael and John as well, type of projects you guys are doing, maybe the softwares and technologies that you guys are currently using to get that done, and that way we can kind of get those guys up to speed as well.
Okay. So, I mean, our company is very diverse. We've got, like 6 or 7 subdivisions within our company. We've got high-end residential, we have hospitals, we have banks, we have hotels, we have corporate, we have universities, we have churches. We also have masonry restoration and concrete restoration divisions. So
I'm here, Brian.
Hello, Frank.
Hi.
So we're very diversified in what we do. We do new buildings out of the ground. We do renovations. We do additions. So,
Brian, do you guys self-perform your concrete, or do you sub that out?
For the most part, we sub out our concrete. Like I said, we've got a concrete restoration division. We do self-perform some concrete, some demolition, and some carpentry, but we also sub it out as well.
Okay. All right, cool.
And then in terms of programs we use, we have CAD capabilities, but at this point, it's more Revit. Navisworks is really the primary one that we use, that Frank and I see.
Okay.
And then I don't know what, Frank, you use out in the field. Bluebeam, we use a lot of Bluebeam as well.
Yeah, I use Bluebeam, and then I use what the hell is the program I use to look at the model. I have to grab my iPad. I haven't used it in a while, so it's like eluding me. I want to say this. Give me a second. Let's see what I use in the field. When I use it, it is, sorry, bear with me.
Yeah, no problem.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's BIM 360 Glue.
Okay, is that the app that you guys downloaded, maybe?
I did, and
Okay.
yeah, that's what I used to, like I said, I open up my model, and, or wait, maybe I'm wrong. Is that what I do? I don't remember. Yeah, that's what I use.
I think that's what you.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna show Glue as well. Frank, this is Brian as well. Brian Ragland from Applied.
Hey.
So whenever you say, I'm great. So whenever you say Brian, both of us are gonna go what? But we're gonna go over that as well. We're gonna show Glue. The full functionality of it. Michael will give the overview, and then Field is something that I think is really going to interest you. It's basically replacing the clipboard with with an iPad, which sounds like you guys are already utilizing iPads on the Field. Frank, what problems, what challenges are you having in the Field right now? What are some roadblocks that you're coming up against that you'd like to maybe see some solutions for?
I think just generally taking notes while you're out walking in the field, taking pictures, having a nice way of being able to document things that you're seeing. Jot down a note so when I get back to my computer, I can, go through my notes and just kind of say, oh yeah, I saw that and I didn't like it. Let me work on that type of thing. I think that's probably one of the bigger things. I know I don't really personally much care for the program that we use for like our daily reports and stuff like that. It's just not a really easy program. But who am I to tell the company that they didn't buy the right stuff? You know what I mean?
Don't worry about that. That's my job.
Okay, good.
Well, again, I don't want to steal Michael's thunder when he shows you stuff, but if you can imagine, having everything you need on your iPad, taking your notes in the field, going back to the trailer, syncing up, and then instantly everything just gets uploaded and done. I mean, that's going to save you hours and hours of time of taking the notes, and going back, importing them, going through pictures. I mean, having to be able to do that on site, on the field, linking back up to Wi-Fi. If you have Wi-Fi in the field, throughout the field, great. If not, don't worry about it. You sync back up and you're good to go. So I think you're really going to be pretty excited about what you see there. But do either one of you guys have any questions for us before we get started, either myself or maybe an Autodesk question in general that we can answer for you?
Not me.
Great.
I've heard
All right,
that, well, yeah, I've heard CMIC will sync up with a few things. Does BIM 360 sync up with CMIC? Or are they kind of separate programs, or how does that work?
Michael,
currently, like out of the box, it does not. But that's something that we could, help you guys do a custom integration with if you wanted to go that way. Basically all that we would do is just figure out what, kind of information you wanted to flow from one thing to another, and then, we'd work with their API, and try to get to work. This is Michael, by the way. I apologize. I should have said that first.
Great. Well,
this is John with Autodesk. Are you actually currently using CMIC, or is it a solution that you're evaluating?
We're currently using it. We've been using it for about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
We've been adding modules as we go. So, it's pretty ingrained in our system now. It's just a matter of, how do we not have 5 different programs that do similar things but don't talk to each other?
Right. Okay.
Right, and like for me personally, on this project that I'm currently working on, I was going to start trying to use Microsoft OneNote to kind of do the things that I was kind of mentioning, kind of doing my dailies, but at this point I can't figure out how I would be able to incorporate it into CMIC so I don't have to like double dip. So if there was a way that we could do it out in the field, and that it would just kind of sync right into CMIC, so that way my boss is happy and that would definitely be something that would be interesting and worth looking at, I think.
Okay. So I got a couple more questions about, like, so what are you guys, I heard you guys say that you guys are using Revit and Navisworks, and then you're using Glue as a model viewer currently out in the field. Like, so can you go into a little bit more detail about your coordination process?
All right. So I can build the full Revit model or modify the existing.
Mm-hmm.
I do the clash detection.
Okay.
That's where my main focus is. I'm a project manager, so I run projects. I don't do the coordination. So we sub that out. We got 2 or 3 different companies we go to. They'll take the model. They'll run the clash detection. We'll sit in on the meetings. And really, that's about as far as we go. It's model and clash detection between the 2.
You sub that out. Are you subbing that out to one of your mechanical contractors that does that, or is it just somebody that's specifically doing modeling for you?
We've done both. Depending on the project, we'll have the mechanical take the lead, or we'll sub it out to a company that specifically does that work.
Okay. So I guess basically what I'm going to do is give you guys a BIM 360 overview. I had planned to do a Glue demo, but it doesn't seem that doesn't sound like that's something that particularly interests you. Like so I think I'll kind of push. I'll kind of go maybe with field instead. Does that sound right to you, right, Brian and Brian?
I would say I don't know the difference between them. So what's the difference between Glue and field?
Okay, so yeah, I'll that's a great question. So
Great segue.
everybody can see my screen right now, I'm assuming. So right now what you're looking at is the BIM 360 family, okay? There's 5 products that all fall under the BIM 360 name. There's docs, there's Glue, there's layout, plan, and then field, okay? So BIM 360 docs, what you can think about that is basically it's the newest product, and it is something where it's just think of it as like your document repository for any document, your shop drawings, your plans and specs, your Revit model. Basically, that is the hub that you would place all of your any RFI submittals, et cetera, et cetera. That's your hub for your documents. So in addition to what Bluebeam does with like hyperlinking and all that, you'll be able to view and edit and comment on your documents. Okay, so that's BIM 360 Docs. It's the newest thing. So now next, and as you can see, it goes from you can utilize docs from pre-con all the way to commissioning and handover. Okay, so now as far as Glue, I want you to think about Glue as it's cloud-based coordination. Okay, so if you guys are utilizing Navisworks, if were I to show you a demo of it, it moves around. It looks a whole lot like it feels a whole lot like Navisworks, but the beauty of Glue is that it's coordination in the cloud. So basically, everybody houses their model like on their Glue site, and it can be updated with the touch of a button or just a simple drag and drop of a model, and you can the clashes, the views, the markups, all of the information about coordination is up there on the cloud, and you can view it at any time. And whenever you make a change to your model, it is pretty much instantaneously translated into Glue. So the power of that is that everybody always has we call it single source of truth. So it's there's there's no doubt that anybody at any time is going to be looking at and working on the most up-to-date model. So the clashes are always valid and they're not obsolete. Okay. So BIM 360 layout. This is our this is basically our product that works with robotic total stations, and so this product will help you lay out all of your points in the field, and it works with a model. So you attach points to your model using Autodesk point layout, and then you take those into the field and then you actually lay them out with your robotic total station. So it really just kind of speeds up the whole, it speeds up and really makes the layout process a whole lot more accurate. So BIM 360 Plan is also a relatively new product, but this is basically, if you guys are into lean construction, then it basically, think of it like cloud-based pull planning. So, that's one that I really I have not worked very much with, but we have a guy on our staff named Clinton Cook who that's kind of his area of expertise. And then finally, we've got BIM 360 Field, and what you can think of BIM 360 Field is that is your construction tool. Okay, that's your cloud construction tool. So if you want to have, if you guys want to fill out checklists, if you guys want to manage and create and generate issues, if you guys want to have automated reports, if you guys want to have, like you guys were saying, basically digital daily reports, BIM 360 Field is your thing. Okay, so like it's I used it in when I worked for Walsh Construction, and basically it was our quality control mechanism, and it really helped speed up and improve our quality process. So I guess that's basically our overview. So did that answer your glue versus field question?
I think so.
Okay.
But it kind of comes back to that. We don't want 5 different programs to
Right.
do what we do. Are they all interface with each other seamlessly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Well, right now they're like Docs is new, so it's right now it does not directly interact with all of them, but like I think by the end of May, like Autodesk is working towards that. But like yes, all 4 of these interact with one another in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so glue, you can basically there's a button in Revit that's just the glue button, so you can push your Revit model into glue. Okay, and so then in glue you can clash coordinate whatever, and then you can push your model like either into layout or into BIM 360 Field, so that you can view it and make generate issues from your model, or you can lay out your model. Okay, and that's really just as simple as it's just a push of a button. Okay, in some instances it's just a one-time push of a button. In other instances it's maybe as you complete coordination or whatever. It's a user-controlled push of a button. Okay, let's see. Yeah, plan and field work together. One of the ways that they do that is with there's these things called tasks, and so you can basically I guess kind of use tasks but in between plan and field. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But yes, they all integrate with each other.
And Brian, that was the goal of doing the BIM 360. There's a lot of people out there that are saying, oh, can we buy BIM 360? And I think what you need to understand is, BIM 360 is the platform, but the products are glue, field, plan, ops, and so on. So as you discover your needs, you can start adding on from there. So for instance, if you realize that, look, our immediate need is field, great, go with field. And then if you decide, look, we'd like to add glue because we want to do more of the model coordination. Navisworks does things really, really well. But the great thing about glue is it's all cloud-based. So you're cutting down on downloading models from the FTP site. The biggest thing, too, is your coordination with your subs. Who's doing what? Who's doing what next? Is it done? Did it not get done? Did we communicate? Did I miss a call? Do I have to track this guy down? So a lot of the things that you're doing as a project manager, herding cats, trying to get your subs up and running or finishing on time, glue is in the background doing a lot of that for you. So for instance, you walk out in the field and there's some MEP piping that is sticking out and it's not right and the other trays can't get in there, insert whatever scenario you'd like, right? So you have to contact that guy or gal and say, look, when is this going to be done? Is it done? And you hear crickets maybe for 8 hours, 10 hours the next day. With glue, everybody's notified these are the issues. And as your MEP or your, I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, like, he's explaining it really well, but is like, do you guys want to see, like, a quick demo of glue and then a quick demo of field, or do you, like, is there, what do you guys want to see today?
I think that would be good, Brian. I don't want to answer for you, but I would like to show you that so you could see clearly the differentials and how those two work together seamlessly.
Okay. So here's where we're going to start. Okay. So I've just got a really basic Revit model here. Okay. So we're starting in Revit, and I'm just going to go up here, going to go to my add-ins, and I'm going to push this model to glue. Okay. Okay, great. So I'm going to select my project, and then I'm just going to select the view that I want to update. I could select as many or as few views as I wanted to. In this instance, I'm just looking at the mechanical model, so I just want to push that mechanical model up. So I'm just going to hit next here. Okay, so got it in there. I've uploaded it before, so it remembers it. It's in this folder. Last time that I glued it was, I think, last Friday, actually, around this time. So, I'm going to, I'm just going to hit glue. Okay. So while I'm doing that, it's going to tell me, hey, it'll ask me if I want to update it or create a new file, and I want to update it because I want to have, I want to see the changes in my model from the previous time. Okay, so it's working pretty quickly. It's going to tell me as soon as it's complete. Okay, so I've already got glue opened up here. So a little bit about it, like I said, when I open up my model, you're going to see that it works a whole lot like Navisworks does. Okay, right here, basically what you do is you upload your models, and you could actually see it going on right there. I'll show it to you. You upload your models either by the glue button or manually, and then what you do is you create a merge model. So if you guys are familiar with Navisworks, you can think of the models as basically your NWCs or your CAD files, or basically all of your attachments that you append to your final NWF file or NWD file. Okay, so the NWD or NWF is like the right here is the merged model. Okay. So, okay. So I'm going to hop into this one right here into this model. Okay, and I apologize for the latency right here. Glue tends to go a little bit slower when we've got when I'm also screen sharing. So
yeah, we got a little bit of inception going on.
I think that it's probably mostly because of my I'm running this right now on a Surface, so it could be that I've got a whole lot of things going on with it. But anyway, sorry, go ahead, Brian. What were you saying?
No, it was just a horrible joke. I just was saying it was like Inception. It's a thing inside of a thing inside of a thing, and it slows down a little bit. But the other lag that happens too, in my former sales life, I did a lot of marketing. When you do something over GoToMeeting, it's not a streaming video. It's a series of pictures that's just rapidly done. If you look at like an old school movie where you would flip the pictures that made stuff move. So when it comes to sharing video or it comes to sharing some of this, it lags a little bit as well. It's trying to catch up. So it pushes the audio before it pushes the video portion. So sorry about the delay, guys.
So, okay, so right now you can see I opened up my model. It looks pretty similar and functions pretty similar to Navisworks. So if you're used to that, then it works and looks pretty similar, okay? So what I've actually done is I've opened up a clash report. And so what I'm just going to do real quickly is I'm just going to run another one, okay? Pardon me. Okay, so I've opened, okay, may have to refresh here. I just saw that it, okay, so right now you can see that that I updated the model. I guess I opened it before it was ready, so we'll just hit refresh. And so basically, right there, that was a perfect example. Okay, so I updated the model, and so as soon as the model was completely updated, it gave me a little notification up here that was in red or in orange, you know, telling me that I needed to refresh the model. So I hit refresh, and then, you know, inside of a minute, it updated everything. Okay, so let's update our results right now for our clash report. Okay, so great. So what we see right here is we've got a whole bunch of our clashes. Okay, so you can see all these little orange dots represent the clashes. Okay, so as I roll over them, it gives a location of all of them. So let's just hide that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create I'm just going to make a markup and create a notification that, you know, I want this specific one changed. Okay, so when I click on the clash, it zooms right into it. So you know, I've added a markup, so I can mark it up pretty easily. Okay, so then you can add text, you can add arrows, you can delete things, you can, you know, make circles or whatever. You can even change the color of your markup. Pretty simple. Okay, so right there you can see with that clash it's saved. So I'm gonna also make a comment, and the comment's gonna be okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually notify myself of the issue. So what's cool about this is that you know, it's going to send me an email about it, and it's really fast about it. So that's pretty cool. Okay, that it's going to send me an email, and then when I go into the email, I can click on it, and it's going to send me right back into this location in the model. So that's what I think. That's pretty cool. See, there you go. There's the email, right? But what I think the really powerful tool is Clash Pinpoint with it. Okay, so I'm going to come back into my Revit model. Okay, I'm going to hit Clash Pinpoint. So I'm just going to select this Clash result set right here, which is the one that we just did. Okay, you can see it was just done 2 minutes ago, so I'm going to hit View. So when I hit View, you can see I've got 2 different clashes in there, one that was old and then one that we just did, number 8. So you can see number 8, I sent that along. Okay, so when I click on number 8, I just select View Selected, and so what it does is it shows, let me get it fine, so that it shows the actual, okay, great. So what you actually see here is the 2 items that are clashing, okay? So right here, it's showing me that the ductwork and this piece of plumbing are clashing. So what I can do then, oh, sorry, my iPad went to sleep, is actually select that item that I wanted to move. So because remember, the direction that I said was to move duct back to miss the plumbing. Okay. So let's do that. So I'll just move it back right here. It says tap much. That's fine. Okay. So really, I can very quickly make changes to my model based on the clash coordination there. So it's not just that it notifies me immediately. It's that I can go in and then it does a lot of the work of finding the problems in my model. I don't have to go and sift through my model even, okay? So then if I were to just go in there and glue this again after I, made that change, then, it'll show up, okay? So to, I guess, review with glue. So when I was doing coordination, I had there were always 2 issues or 2 reasons that things didn't get done, okay? The most consistent responses that I got were, really the one most consistent response that I got was through coordination was when I asked, why didn't this clash get done this week? And the response from just about every sub was, well, I didn't know what the mechanical guy was going to do here. I didn't know what the electrical guy was going to do here. And, so they waited until the next week to see, what that electrical guy was going to do or what that, mechanical guy was going to do. So the whole process got slowed down because people were waiting on updates. Well, with glue, you can be working in basically your Navisworks model all the time. So you see the yellow exclamation point? You just hit this refresh button right here. It updates it. It updates your model, and then you can even go and then update your results, your result set or your clash result set. Okay. And so what you can see is number 8 and number 4. It shows me that my revision resolved those clashes, and furthermore, it didn't even create new ones. So, so that's basically the power of it. Something that would take a week for someone to look at, it can take them, I think what was that, 10, maybe 15 minutes tops that I talked about that. So it took something that took a week now could take 10 minutes. Okay, so that's glue. Do you guys have any questions?
No, I mean, it looks like Navisworks. Do you set it up in Navisworks first, or do you just set everything up here in glue directly?
Great question. So I'll go back to it. So you can. It's a pretty simple process. You just you set up your glue project, and then let me go down to right here. Okay. You set up your glue project, and then basically just like I showed, you can either, if you're using Revit or AutoCAD or fabrication or any of those other Autodesk projects, it's really just as simple as just selecting, hitting the glue button and then finding your project, okay? And or if you could just manually upload your models, so you could just hit upload, drag and drop them in, and it's done, okay? So then what you do is you create a merged model, which is just basically you're appending all of your models in glue, okay? So it's just like the process that you would have done in Navisworks, but instead of in Navisworks, you're in glue, okay?
So is it easier to just say that glue is basically Navisworks online?
Yeah, that's as simple as you can make it, more or less. It doesn't have all of the functionality that Navisworks has. Like Navisworks has a bunch of it doesn't have any of it's clash coordination. It's the Navisworks clash tool online.
Okay. Brian, this is John with Autodesk. I mean, the best way to look at it really is Navisworks is still going to do your heavy lifting of your coordination. But what Glue does is it provides basically a central repository for all those models, and it is the traffic cop from a communication standpoint for those models. And then it also provides access to those models out into the field. So Frank, instead of using the lightweight viewer app, you would have possibly have a full license of Glue, and it will allow him to get into leverage the Glue functionality more of the functionality of Glue, not just as a viewer, and be able to communicate back to that central hub, if you will, and then again leverage Navisworks for your heavy lifting. Does that make sense?
So you could use Navisworks, like you use Glue to store the model, but then if we're doing some heavier duty stuff, we would be able to pull it into Navisworks, do whatever it is that Brian would be doing during his time, put it back on Glue, if you will, so that I could pull it down in the field and use that as a tool. Is that a fair way of saying it?
I mean, that would be a workflow, but Navisworks, okay. Your models in Navisworks could be automatically linked to your models in Glue, and so those changes will happen automatically.
Yeah.
You'll always have that up-to-date model in the field.
Yeah, so yeah, basically Navisworks now can just link directly to your model, and so you just pick, just like you would when you were uploading a Revit model. You just select your Revit model or your Glue model in Navisworks, and then you can do whatever you need to do in Navisworks.
Okay.
And it'll still apply. Okay. So any other questions?
Does that answer your question?
I do believe so, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So next thing I'm going to show you is BIM 360 field, okay? We're just going to work on off of my iPad here. So again, Glue is that's your model viewer, that's your cloud coordination tool, and then Field is your field and construction coordination tool, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly. You tap on the menu here, and it brings up a bunch of modules for Field, okay? So I'll just go through them real quickly. There's the issues module, and so you can manage and track the issues associated with your project. So like you guys were saying, this is where you would take notes in the field and document problems or just items that are going on in the field, okay? Checklists, if you guys have any commissioning or safety checklists or quality control checklists that you guys fill out prior to moving construction forward, then we can help you guys convert those so that they work in BIM 360 field, and then the documentation, you don't have to no longer have to have like 700 binders that you put these checklists in to prove that you ran your quality checks, okay? So next is daily updates, and so that's basically, this is your automated cloud-based daily report function for your superintendents. Also, I'm definitely going to go over that one later because that's something that you guys said that you were talking about. That was a problem for you guys. Then there's the equipment module. Think of that as you can manage the status of all of your equipment or all of your assets. So, equipment could be anything from doors and windows all the way up to mechanical parts or like plumbing spools or your air handling units. Basically it can be whatever you want to track. Equipment can help you track it, okay? Then there's tasks, which basically you can assign tasks to individuals to do certain things. Like maybe, they need to fill out a checklist today for quality control, or they need to so you can basically assign tasks to people and make sure they do it. Okay, so the library, this is basically like your central repository for all of your documents on your BIM 360 field site. You guys said that you guys use Bluebeam, so anything that, if you guys use hyperlinks or whatever to, link all of your documents up, the BIM 360 field library, anything that you do to those PDFs before it comes into BIM 360 field can be viewed in BIM 360 field. So if you have hyperlinks and you're using Bluebeam, then you'll have hyperlinks in BIM 360 field. Okay. The next one is models. Go ahead. Sorry.
Does Bluebeam have a send to BIM 360 link, or is there any interface between those two, or is it do in Bluebeam, save it, and then download it to Blue or Field?
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much the process. And we also have a product called 360 Sync that does that automatically. Basically, you sync a folder on your server or on your desktop or whatever. So basically, what we tell people to do is you sync a folder on your server that has all of your documents on it, and so whenever you update them in Bluebeam or whatever, or maybe they come through Newforma or whatever from your architect or whatever, when an ASI comes out or whatever, you just put it into that folder, and then you set it on a schedule, and every hour it basically updates for you. But
so it's basically like a Dropbox, if you will.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So the next one is models, and it's the same thing as the library. You just push your models into the library, and then they show up right. You click on them here, and you can view them. Then finally is photos. Okay, so any photo that you take, whether it's attached to an issue or a checklist or your daily report or whatever, you can search and sort them using the photos module. Okay. Let's see, another couple of cool things. Well, I guess one really is the barcode scanner. So BIM 360 Field utilizes barcode technology. So we've helped a lot of people basically come up with a solution for barcoding their projects so that it speeds up the work process. They don't have to go through and search, okay, what room am I in or whatever. They just scan the barcode, and then it takes them right to that room, and then they can start creating issues, okay? Or maybe they don't know what this piece of equipment is. You just scan the piece of equipment. Oh, this is, VAV in the VAV in room 12, okay? So we help a lot of people out with that, and so that comes right out of the box. There's barcode scanning technology with it. Right now I'll really quickly get into, I'm just going to show you guys basically two things. I'm going to show you guys issues, and I'm going to show you guys daily updates. Which, is there one that you want to see first, or does it matter?
Either one would be fine on my end.
Okay, I'll just start with daily updates. Okay, so let's just start with today. So I just tap on the screen, and so what is your all's location right now?
You can use just go 60622.
Okay, so when I do that, when I put in your zip code, it automatically populates your all of the information for the day for the weather. Okay, so let's you've already got that done. So now let's say there was a rain event at 2 o'clock. Yes, please. So you just hit the notes and you type it in. Okay. So next, you can go over here to labor and manpower. So let's say, okay, so you put in the company name, and then you say how many workers were there today. So let's just say 7, and then they worked 8 hours today, and you hit calculate. Okay, so it actually calculates the work hours for you. Okay, so then you can even go in and give notes on as to what they did. Yes. Did this, worked on that, finished those. Okay. So basically, you can it's everything that you've got in your current. I worked with Walsh, so we also use CMIC, and that we had a template that we used basically that asked for all this same information. So you could do this, go on down the line with all of your subcontractors, saying what they did for that day. Okay. So now, if you look up here, you can copy this from a previous update. So let's say your guys, for the whole week, that more or less the same amount of subcontractors are going to be on the site. So you don't have to fill this stuff in every day. You just say copy from previous update, and it takes all that stuff in there, and then you can just modify the workers and the hours. Okay. So finally, you can go into general notes. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. So when you say copy from previous update, that would be like you would go to yesterday's daily report, and it would pull in all the companies, and generally what they were doing, and then so I would just change the workers. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You could change any of this information, but it would basically set it up so that you wouldn't have to put in all 7 or 8 of those subcontractors.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So you would modify stuff, but maybe they were working on the same thing or mostly the same thing, so you wouldn't have to.
Right.
Rather than typing in all 3 of both lines of this, you would maybe just modify 1 line.
Okay.
Okay. So same thing with general notes. Okay, you can just come in here and just type in general notes about the day, like whatever progress that went down, any meetings that you had, any discussions that you had. You can put that here. And again, if you guys have a template for how you do this, then you can copy this from a previous update and modify however you need to. Okay. And then also right here you can see you can add photos, so you can document any issues that went on, and they'll be attached to the daily report. Okay. So a lot of people also even use this as maybe this is your site walk tool for you take your photos and you assign all of them to this this daily report, and so that's one way that people also use this creatively. so that's daily reports. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about one other thing. There's one other module that I didn't talk about, right? Okay, and that is reports. And
can I ask? I'm sorry. Can I ask real quick? So I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude and cut you off, but any of this stuff that you're doing right now, I can do that offline, and then when I get back to some place that I have Wi-Fi, it will sync up for me. Is that correct?
Right. Exactly. So
it just
right here,
stays local. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing that's great about the iPad and BIM 360 field is that, just like you're saying, it's you can sync with the project. You don't have to have Wi-Fi. You can go out there, and so when you sync, all you do is you just hit this button down here, and then you can choose what you upload to BIM 360 and what you download from it. Okay. So what we always tell our teams whenever we're training them is that, you want to sync in the morning, and then as soon as you come back from lunch or whenever you're done with your walk or whatever for the day, you sync at the beginning of the day, and then you sync right after it. And so it takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and the beauty of it is you've got all of your information, in your iPad, and it's up to date. Okay. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys is the issues. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Go ahead. Okay, so the great thing about these is basically think of it as, you can create quality issues all over the place. Okay. So let's just take a look at one of them. Okay. So we'll add an issue. So we'll just come up here and hit the plus sign. So let's just say we're walking the site and we saw an issue. So the issue is that we need to touch up paint. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to take a picture of the issue. Okay, so you can see on this column, the paint obviously needs to be touched up before we turn it over to the owner. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to mark up my picture. Okay, so I've got that done. So I've got it closed. So now I'm going to come in here, and I can just choose the issue type, and then I can assign the company. So I'm just going to assign applied software to it, and then because I've got it already located in, I've got my locations located into the marketing area. Like it automatically locates that for me. Okay, so basically you can just with the tap of your finger you can change all kinds of things. Oh, also you can change the status of the issue. Okay, so that's basically think of this as your quality control workflow right here. Okay, so the way that you'd use this is you're walking the site, you see an issue, you mark it open, you make a comment on it. Okay, then you assign it to the subcontractor. Okay, so then the subcontractor comes back, he reviews it, and he marks it as work complete. And so then you've got a report that every week you look at, and it says, okay, these are all the work complete items according to our subcontractors. Okay, so you go and you walk that, and so you could either agree with it and then mark it closed, or you could not approve it and then create an issue or create a comment for it. Okay, so
okay. Let me ask you. Find a subcontract. Most of my subs don't have iPad.
Right.
Do they get a personal email, or how does that go out to them?
Well, you could add them to it, and then if they signed in, then they could do it. But for me, I had I would say I was about 50-50 when I worked on a project of active participants in BIM 360 Field that used it on their iPad and then commented on their iPad, and then there was the other half that were not as sophisticated and didn't. Okay, so what I did when I did that was I would create this report that had that set up all of my issues, and it organized them by subcontractor. Okay, so the ones that were actively participating, I would send that report out like the day of the quality control meeting or whatever, or the subcontractor meeting, and so they would get a notification in the morning that they got this report. So then they would, they would print it off, or they would look at it or whatever, and then they would go and they would do their work. Well, for the ones that weren't actively participating, I just instead of them getting the automatic email, I printed it out, and then I either gave it to them at the meeting or I put it in their mailbox. And so then during the meeting, they had it, okay? And so it was all organized by subcontractors. So all they had to do, or basically all that I did, was I just stapled everybody, every single subcontractor's report, just, and divided them up and just gave them just their issues, okay? So they had just their issues, and then it was also organized by location, and and status, and they could see any of the comments, they could see the location of it, they could see a picture of it, and let's see, so right here, so actually what I'm going to do with this one, go to mine, see if it's, okay, so I must not have downloaded my library. Well, yeah, so you can, basically you can locate it. It's just going to make things, real easy for you. I'll actually come in here and let me create a report on BIM 360 field so I can show you exactly what you get when you run one. Okay, so open issues for the sub. Great. So I'll just run this right now. And so basically, like I said, the beauty of this is that, you're already generating, the beauty of reports in BIM 360 are that you're already creating that you're already gathering this information in the field, however you're doing it right now. So there's really not much of a time saving, I guess, really, with as far as generating the issue. It's definitely better because everything's all in one place, but you're not saving a whole bunch of time there. But where you are saving a ton of time is with this reporting thing. You can set up a scheduled report or a saved report, which is what I'm showing you right here. And so then you can see basically it. This one right here. So like I've pinpointed my locations exactly in my in BIM 360. So you see pinpointed locations right here, right? Each one of these is an issue. So then you go to the next page, and so it describes each issue, okay? And so there's a comment on it, then it explains it. If there's an image associated with it, it shows it, okay? So before, when I was doing this, I would have to generate this information all out in the field, and then I'd have to come back in, and then I would have to create something that was presentable in a report and then send it out, right? Well, you saw, that would take me about a half an hour to an hour, just about every time that I created a report. And so doing it this way, like, it only took, it took about a minute for me to decide what data I needed and then to, create the report. So it took something that used to be an hour for me to do, and it made it minutes. So that saved me tons of time.
Frank, so, do you see now when we talked before kind of the process you were doing it then and how this could shave some time for you?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I guess no, definitely. This could it would definitely be a much more powerful communication tool when there are issues, instead of having to draw things and take pictures and cut and paste and all that stuff. And I like how it would be able to track the item until I close it. So yeah, it could definitely be and a lot of times what happens is I'll yell and scream at everybody because they've got a boo-boo, and then I forget about it, and I'll come back at the end of the job and be like, oh crap, I forgot all about that, and now now it's buried behind something else, and we've got to take that something else out to get to it. So yeah, this is definitely, this could definitely be very helpful. issues and then the daily reports are definitely, the daily report part is very similar to what we're required to do now. But I like how I can do it on my iPad, not have, and just do it right when I'm standing in the field and not have to go back to my computer, forget everything I thought about throughout the entire day.
Right.
Yeah, this can definitely be helpful.
Great. Sorry, Michael, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to circle back around on Frank's pain point and make sure that we addressed it.
Yeah, and so like another thing that it's like the two, when I was a quality control engineer, I got two responses whenever I would try to do a walk with someone to try to solve issues, right? And the first thing that they would say is, that's not mine, okay? And so because, it's, I've got a list of everything and it's assigned to people, that argument is gone, So then the other thing that I always got was, well, I already did that, okay? Well, if they added a comment and then took a picture and showed that they had already done it, then, we didn't have to argue about that, So it really kind of made my subcontractors more, it kept everybody more, the word's escaping me, but, accountable, okay? So, instead of me wasting the first 5 minutes of my meetings about, oh, well, this isn't mine, or I don't, or I already did that, I could, everybody could see if it was done or if it was theirs, There was not much argument. And then another question was, oh, I didn't know where it was. Because I pinpointed it, because I took the picture, they know where it is. So all three of those things are, gone. All three of those arguments. So then instead of wasting our time arguing about things, we're just ready to talk about how to solve the issue. So that really helped me also.
Look, can I ask another question? Maybe more of a global. So the subcontractor has to have a BIM field account in order to get in and make changes direct from their iPad or from the desktop, from the web version. Is that correct?
Correct.
Basically, okay. So, so the first problem that I would have is I'd have to have every single contractor buy into getting BIM 3, the field.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I agree that you want to have as many as possible, but for me, like I said, I only had 50% on my project that actively participated in, like you're talking about with an email and with an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But like just having this report that that you can see right here. Once I would give them that, they would walk their issues, and then they would come back to me and they would make notes on my report. And then, it was extra work for me, but because I was creating the report, it still saved me time, because then all I had to do was just go in there and just, make the edits, say that this one was ready to review, and then it still saved me time. And they weren't actively participating because they didn't have an iPad or whatever, but they were still participating, and it made things go faster because it was organized clearly, and it was it was updated, like with an Excel file. It's a pain to update, a pain to locate things. If you add pictures to it, like the file's going to be astronomically huge. So.
Hey, Frank, from the way that BIM 360 Field is sold, it's sold on either a per project basis or enterprise solution. So let's say you have a specific project that you want to use this on, you would purchase it for the project, and then you would provide access to those on the team or on the project team that you want to provide access. Obviously,
okay.
If everybody on the project was iPad-based and was able to leverage the tool, you're going to get the highest return on your investment. But as Michael said, you can still, from a web-based standpoint and an email standpoint, you're still going to be able to communicate effectively with those non-iPad users, and at the same time control all of your project data in one location.
So if I bought it for the project and I can send this out to a non-iPad user because I gave them access to the project, is there a web interface that they could go into to answer my question and upload a picture? Is that what I'm looking at right there?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking at. They could view any, as a subcontractor, you can view issues and tasks, and then I believe reports. You know, from
Only reports. That's the power of the web.
And it would just be stuff that was assigned to them too. So I would cut through all the mush, and you know, it would just be things that were assigned to, you know, it would be things that were just assigned to their company.
Okay, so ABC company is using the iPad. I send them their report. They go through, they go to the iPad, they do their thing, they update, blah, blah, blah. XYZ company is not, but they can go take some pictures. They can go into the web interface, type in, say, yes, I did this work. I can then go back on my iPad, check it, and close it. Is that?
Yes. And so, yeah,
okay.
So the workflow for them would be, yeah, you change it for, you know, you open it, okay, and so then they would change it to work complete, make a comment, attach a photo, or whatever, and so then you would, you know, then you would go and review your work complete item list.
Okay.
Okay. I think what you're gonna find too is your subs. You know, let's say on the first project, not all of them buy in, but as they see the progression, they're going to see the benefits. For instance, you know, concrete guys are waiting to pour, and bar hasn't tied everything off yet. Everyone's waiting. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and that concrete's sitting there, and who's doing what, blah, blah, blah. And going into the weekend, it's really dicey. You're having this communication going out, whether you're sitting on top of that or not, or is all the electric in the wall before drywall can throw up, that sort of things. So this is getting churned. All this information is getting kicked to your subs as well, so they're not sitting on their hands because that's costly for everybody involved. So it's a great tool. It's almost like having a virtual coordinator sitting there at all times coordinating all of the teams, and you're sitting there doing the overview, but it's still churning out information that those guys can get in there and do what they need to do without having to wait, which is what Michael alluded to before. I didn't know, I didn't get that, this guy didn't appear, everybody's going, and more importantly, you have up to the minute reports on who's doing what and what's done, and you can kick that information out accordingly. It's an incredibly powerful tool, and as the subs see this, it's making their lives easier as well. They're more apt to jump on. You know, they may not do it the first project, but the second, third, fourth, and so forth. They're going to start getting really hip to this game quickly.
Okay, thank you for answering all those questions.
Awesome.
Jump off of here. I got something else I need to be at, but Frank, I don't know if you want to continue with these guys. And thank you for showing us this, because
absolutely,
yeah,
Brian. Absolutely.
And I'm getting a little closer. I got a few phone calls and some emails that have popped up while we've been on this.
Okay.
I think what I'd like to try to do is I believe, if I remember correctly, hopefully I didn't screw it up and do it, but I think there's a 30-day free trial that I can try and see if I like how it works, so that I can kind of pass that on to, you know, Brian and whoever in our company. So I'd like to maybe give it a try for 30 days. If I didn't already do that and not use it, just like I said, so I can kind of get a feel for how it feels from the field side.
Yeah, for sure. And if there's like, is there a project specifically that you guys, you know, are you, you know, that you want to implement it on right now that's maybe going on, or?
Well, I'm just like literally days into a project right now. Actually physically started the project yesterday. I'm only doing a small portion of the project, and somebody else is coming in to take over from there. But I definitely want to give it a try, at least for the 30 days. And And if I like it and I talk to Brian and it makes sense to try to at least work within the field portion of it, it may make sense to do that. But let me get started on it, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, and for sure, like the daily update portion, I mean, that would be something that you wouldn't even really have to add in anything to start out doing it. Issues, you could do that too, but you'd have to put in location, your locations and stuff. But we could help you with out with whatever you wanted to do if there was a specific project.
So, like, if I were to try to set this up, how can I link it to? Would I be able to get access to the library in order to be able to like upload the drawings or anything like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, it would be. Yeah, you would have access to everything. It would be just a full. You could create reports. You could, view issues. You could link locations. You could do whatever you wanted to do.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you two further quick questions that I might have missed when we first talked about it, or when you first started your spiel. The amount of cloud storage is unlimited. Is it limited to 5 gigs or 5 sheets, or what is the availability for the storage?
I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that there's one company that we work with. Yeah, they've done 64 megs, so they filled up a 64 megabyte iPad. So.
Frank, when you purchase for a project, BIM 360 Field provides you access for unlimited users and unlimited data for that project.
Okay, that helps. Damn it, what was the other question I was going to ask? Oh, I don't know, but I forgot it. But
do we prefer? Were you going to ask if we preferred cash, credit, or charge?
No, actually, it is actually. That is kind of along that line. What does it cost for a project? Like, what does one project cost?
Great question. So it is based, like we said, on project. It's based on the dollar amount of the project and the duration of the project. So based on those 3 factors, we give you a price on that. So I couldn't. If you're either able to tell me right now what the dollar amount is on the project, like if it's a $100 million project and it's going to be for 18 months, we calculate that and then we send you a quote.
Brian, you're still on the call?
I'm still here.
Real quick, what are we talking? Is this like a $15 million one-year project?
$6 million for 11 months.
Okay, well there you go. I was off a little bit.
Okay. And then, Brian, what type of project is it?
It's a clean room project for Department of Energy.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, so first step is, Frank, let's get you a trial version, and then we'll start setting up time to go through that, answer the questions you have,
Okay.
Do meetings as needed, and then we'll get some pricing for different projects, see which ones you might want to use them for, and go from there.
Okay, I'm going to have to take. I probably won't pick this up for probably about 2 weeks. I'm about to go on paternity leave for a week.
Oh, wow!
And a half.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Thank you. Thanks, guys. So I would hate to use up that time when I know I'm not going to be here as part of my trial. So maybe we set something up for another 2 or 3 weeks, and this is kind of almost going to be for fun anyways, to see how easy it is to use and stuff like that. But maybe in 2 or 3 weeks we can kind of reconvene and I'll get kind of started on my end with signing up for the free thing.
Absolutely. Or we can all meet at 3 in the morning while you're doing the sessions with the baby and do some training then. What do you think?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'm fine with that. I don't know if you guys are going to be too up for it, but
I'm a night owl. I don't know that Michael can hang, but
that's funny.
That's great, brother.
All right.
Well, I have one.
Yeah, go for it.
So once the project's done, I mean, is there some way to file or something so I can save it on my shared drive so I have all the information there, or is it always in BIM and I got to go back to BIM to get it? BIM 360.
Yeah, you can export your project, I believe, at the end, so Autodesk can help you out with.
Yep, you can absolutely download all the data and then have that for your storage locally. And then Brian briefly mentioned a solution called Building Ops. If you have an owner that you want to share that data with, from which that they can actually do some facilities maintenance from, there's actually a process to take the data that you've created using BIM 360 Field and push that to Building Ops, and then your owner would have the information that they want as well, or need. It's probably a topic for another discussion.
Yeah. Brian, I'll send you information on Ops. It is ridiculously cool, and the amount of information, everything that you guys have done gets turned over to the owner. I mean, I don't know how many calls you guys get regarding, this is broken, this doesn't work, this HVAC is out, where's this, where's that? Well, there's a file room, right, where you have a bunch of files just sitting there. There's a lot of times where they either can't find it, it's lost, it takes weeks to get to stuff. They could scan something and know right away manufacturer, the warranty, who to call, what time, emails, status on it. They can even pull it up where it's at in relation to the model. If there's anything, how it's built in, that there's a bunch of stuff around it that they got to be careful of, they can't drill here. It's insane, and I will send that to you. Again, I didn't want to flood you with a bunch of stuff. I wanted to focus on a couple of them. But there's some slick videos on it, and it's a free download right now to take a look at Ops. That is something I think you might be really interested in, and it's very cost-effective to be able to hand that over to those guys. I mean, for you guys really not to get any more calls after you're done with your jobs, and to be able to have them to have access to that insanely cool.
Okay.
So we'll send that to them. I know you guys got to jump off. I know we had a meeting from 11 to 12. It's past that. I can't thank you guys enough for asking a bunch of questions, for sitting in, for showing a ton of interest on this. We'll start when you're back, Frank. We'll touch base. We'll get you up and running. Brian, I'll send you stuff on Ops and a few things on Glue as well. And let's just circle back around, and we'll keep talking.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for all of your time as well.
Thanks a lot. All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to add, or otherwise we'll all go eat our respective lunches at some point.
I don't think
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks again, guys.
Mike. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much, and you too as well, John. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for sitting in and helping.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.